Disclaimer first. By the end of this presentation, I'm sure that you will go home with more knowledge of how to take care of yourself and your family than sitting here in the audience. Human 2300, why this topic? This topic kind of evolved in my mind with my 24 years of experience as a physiotherapist, working with more than 18,000 patients so far. Plus, watching the people around me, watching them what they are doing, what they are not doing, how is their lifestyle, and watching the kids, my own kids, 9 and 15, how they are going, what are they doing, what are they not doing. That kind of put that seed in my mind. What is it going to lead to? How are we going to be in 278 years from now? You know, it's happening right now, guys. It's already happening. But I'm a very nice guy, so I gave 278 years. Right? It's already happening. So let's see what's happening. What we're going to do is how what we're doing now, changing our lifestyles. From top to bottom, we're going to analyze a quick scan starting from the brain. Then we're going to see what we can do now to reverse that so that we don't want those human 2300s swarming around here. Let's start with the brain first. We're going to talk about this radio frequency waves, which is all around us, even here in this room. All our cell phones, laptops, gadgets, everything, how we are cooking our brain in that. Phone here cooks your brain, phone here cooks your heart, phone here, you know what it cooks. So, you know, that's happening everywhere, right? We are frying the neurons, neuronal cells, and we are messing up with the neurotransmitters. We are messing up with ionic imbalances in the brain. You know, those frequencies creates so much thermal heat inside your brain cells and causes so much damage. And there's a lot of articles out there which your cell phone companies and Mr. Steve Jobs doesn't want you to know. Right? Have you ever read those manuals? No, it's like iPhone manual is about 60 pages. I'm sure nobody did read fully. Right? And there's so much effects on that one. Not only that, the slide is a little off, encroach a little bit, but no worries. Next is opioids. We have a big opioid crisis in North America right now, right? Most of the opioid problems are because mismanaged orthopedic practice. It all starts from pain. I mean, right in the middle of it in orthopedic practice, right? That opioid cooks the brain also. Very badly, opioid toxicity messes up everything. Then the last thing, how our technology makes us underuse our brain and the power of the brain. Example is GPS. Global Positioning System. You don't care, just put the key in the address and just put it there. You don't pay attention where you're going, where is the turn, what's the signal, what's the monuments you're passing by. You just follow the equipment, you go reach there. You put all your brain cells to sleep and go on the vacation. Don't worry, you don't have to work. I got this mission. So those are the things we are doing to our brain. We are cooking them by different means and we are underutilizing them. Next, move on to the hearing. So what's happening? How are we abusing that? How many of you go for a walk or a run? And how many of you wear headphones when you do that? And how much blast going on? How much of your kids using headphones for what? How many hours a day? How many video games with headphones? All the gunshots and the bomb blasts. You know, think about it for a moment. Like National Institute of Health is saying, only 70 decibels of amount of hearing you should have in the whole day, exposure-wise. But we are doing triple and 4 times more than that. WHO actually said that 50%, again 50% guys, 50% of our people is going to have hearing loss in the age group of 12 to 35 because of the increased exposure of the devices we are using nowadays. That's a big number. Hearing loss is not just not able to hear, it also causes the cognitive decline. When you can't hear, you go down mentally as well. So think about that, how we are abusing that. The next one. Do you guys correlate with that picture there? Everybody? The swipers and the scrollers in the night? Yeah? What are we doing to ourselves? Sit all day in front of the desktop or laptop, get all that blue lights, and night switch off the light and then just go through those things. How it affects us? It kills your retina, macular degeneration. It affects your vision so much. That's what we are doing to our vision. So we talked about brain, hearing, and vision. Let's get into a musculoskeletal system, my cup of tea, starting with the jaw. What's happening to our jaws? Guys, we have a jaws episode. our jaws are shrinking because we are not chewing enough. How many of you know, or you do, live on protein shakes and smoothies all day? You hardly chewed the whole day. When was the last time you took a sugar cane and bit and ripped it out? Using your teeth and the powerful jaws we have. The mandible, this very powerful bony structure, and the masseter muscle, the muscles of mastication here, one of the strongest muscle in the body. And how much are we using? Boiled vegetables, yeah, eggs, very, very hard to chew, right? Just think about it for a moment. Our jaws are shrinking, going in. You can see how much, you know who's making money out of all these things? The orthodontists, right? Your kids, you will see, it takes about 5 years to change the jaw structure of orthodontic bill. Parents would know how much the bill cost, right? Our jaws are shrinking so much. And it's not only that, mouth breathing. Kids not breathing through the nose anymore. Mouth breathing. Soft pillows, soft beds, you lie on it, your mouth opens. I'm staying in the Seaport Hotel in Boston right now. I was telling my wife yesterday. I put my head on the pillow. I felt like I just dropped in the water. My head just went into the bed. It's no support, nothing. It's very soft. That's going to let you drop back, jaw open, mouth breathing. That's what happened all night. Then next day morning, why the hell my throat is sore? I've been coughing and drinking water like crazy. Blame it on my pillow, right? How is your pillow? How many times you're changing? Is it hard, soft, right? And how much we are chewing? Just ask all these questions to you guys. Next, we are moving on. There's a picture how that takes about 5 years to change a shrinking jaw by orthodontic treatment. And that's 5 years and maybe $50,000 later. So next, we're moving on to our neck and shoulders. We all know, how many of you ever do desktop all day? Yeah, sitting in the desk all day, right? The flexion, flexion, flexion. The box lifestyle, I call it. Forward neck, dropped shoulders. And there must be days and months and years go by without you looking up. Do you know that? When I call my patients and say, hey, look up the ceiling. They do this. Because they forgot how to look up. They don't know this. There is a movement like this called extension. How many of you are doing in a day? Sometimes zero. Sometimes zero. Maybe when you put something in the cupboard, you look up there. That's it. Right? We are losing movement patterns. We are losing the postural control. Those muscles are getting weaker. When the shoulder comes, head comes forward, shoulder drops. Shoulder has no way to go. It has to follow the neck. Your neck is your steering wheel of your body. I'll repeat. Your neck is your steering wheel of your body. If your body wants to function well, this has to move. It cannot be stuck on one side. Then your car is going to go only here. Right? So that's very important. You check your range of motion by yourself. That's very, very important. Next, we are moving on to breathing. Everybody take a deep breath quickly. Wow, look at the chest. It's almost kissed his ears actually. So much of chest breathing, and that's something I catch every day with my patients. Every day, 5 out of 10 patients I catch with abnormal breathing pattern. Heavy on the chest. There is one big muscle right here called diaphragm. The only job of that muscle is to breathe. There is no other job for that muscle. And we so underutilize that muscle. We become heavy chest breathers. We can only breathe through the chest if you're sprinting. You're not sprinting. He's sitting here from morning, last 1.5 hours. And he took us just a big chest breath. Why? We got to talk later. Yeah. And that kind of heavy chest breathing, you're going to use so much of your neck muscles and you're going to have a bulky neck like that. An underused diaphragm. Imagine a big muscle dome, right? It's supposed to go like this and come like that. And all your blood vessels from your heart is going through the diaphragm to supply your internal organs, your ovaries, your pelvis, kidneys, and the leg muscles. When your diaphragm is not moving like this, instead it's moving like this, what kind of passage you're giving to those blood to go down? To your organs, your genitals, and your legs. Then why are you complaining? Your legs are always feeling tired and fatigued. Then your ovaries are not functioning, your periods is messed up. Right? You can blame it on your diaphragm. And sitting all day, thoracic spine, your mid back and upper back is main culprit. I catch them with everybody in my patients. Main reason for your neck pain and the back pain is your thoracic spine not extending and rotating very well. It's stuck like crazy. That's one of the mobile part of your spine where you don't move very well at all. Okay? Then, our flex elbows, hips and knees by sitting all day. That's what we do, right? Forward head, drop shoulder, sit there, work, brush, eat, drive, watch TV, here, an iPad here, right? That's all we do, all day. Box lifestyle again. Thumb overuse. Our thumbs are poor little things. We are overusing so much. My thumb is very poor because I play cricket, as Corey said. I went for a diving catch, clipped my thumb. Cricket is a very hard sport. It's a hard ball. Maybe ball came at 180 kilometers per hour. Fracture dislocation. Our thumbs have great mapping in our brain, cortical mapping, a lot of representation for our thumb in our brain. But my neurons are sleeping for the last 3 weeks. I got to wake them up soon, but right now they are sleeping. So talking about thumb, by your hypertrophy, overusing them, we are abusing them. Thumb, so much tendinitis in the fingers and wrist and everything is happening. So watch your thumb when you're texting, eh? Feet, oh my God, that's what your wheels. I told you your neck is your steering wheel and your feet are your wheels, right? How are you taking care of your wheels? The most abused part of our body is our feet. Okay, I can talk about feet all day, but this is what we end up in, right? Lots of bunions, hammer toes, corns, plantar fasciitis, dropped arches. So many of these problems. Why? Who know who's the real culprit? It's coming up. The cage, the shoes. We cage our feet all day. We don't let them breathe at all. I was in the Nike showroom last week. I saw all those shoes. I almost cried. This much big heels, rocker bottom. It's like a boat. The shoe's like a boat. How is it going to make your feet function properly? Your feet supposed to heel strike, go nicely, rhythmically change. It's going to make your foot go like this, like a boat. That's not the right way to do. So what are the things we have to do? We'll talk about it later. Damn shoes. It elevates our heels. It elevates our heels. It hyperextends your toes. It pushes your center of gravity actually forwards. Then you put more stress on the knees, end up in a lot of knee arthritis and knee problems, right? I don't know who decided that we should have shoes, then we should have pillows. And these things, I don't know. I won't find that person, the first person who created those things and for what, right? And then you get in so much problems with Martin's neuroma. There's nerves going through between your toes and they're getting affected, a lot of pain. So many things, bad things happen. Damn shoes. And our gait, walking pattern has changed so much. My son graduated from elementary school a couple of months back. I went to the graduation ceremony. 200 kids in the age group 10 to 12. I sat there in the middle of the auditorium. I did my job as a physical therapist, not paying attention to who's getting what, just the walking pattern of those kids. When the name's called, how they came up on the stage, how they went and got their certificates. Horrible, guys, horrible. I want to depict that, how they went. They started from here. People call the name. This boy comes up there. That's how I saw this 80% of the boys. Out of 200 boys I observed, and boys and girls. Why? What is changing? There is no arm swing. There is no trunk rotation. Dropped, shuffling gait, like a magnetic gait. Feet is not picking up from the floor, right? Why? Because I'm sitting on my bed playing video games all day, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm not climbing trees, I don't know. Maybe I'm not playing outside enough, I don't know. Maybe I'm not jumping, I'm not lifting, pulling, pushing, carrying, I don't know. It's horrible. Our kids, 80% of 200 kids I saw, they walked like this. No arm swing, no trunk rotation, no hip extension, guys. This hip extension here is very important for initiation of your swing phase. I don't see that hip extension. Kids walk like this. There is no extension at all in the butt. What's wrong? It's pathetic. Then your balance signature. The last one we're going to talk about. How many of you, honestly, how many of you here can or could or already doing wear your socks or underwear standing up without holding on to anything? Honest answer. Standing up in one leg, how many of you putting the socks and underwear? That's a hip stability. That's very important. Good for you guys. That's a hip stability. That's all hip stability. If you cannot stand like this for 10 seconds, I didn't say it, risk of early death. This is a study from Journal of British Medical School, Sports Journal. The research I'll tell you after this one, right? So loss of single leg stability. Why? We are not exposed to the uneven surfaces anymore. We are only on the hardwood floors and carpets and tiles, right? That's the main reason. Our bone density is going down, the strength is going down, arches are collapsing, feet is not breathing, brain is cooking. I don't know. Though this is a research study I shared with you guys, I just told you, it's a very important study. You have to understand. You can practice, you can always improve. Practicing it at home by yourself is a simple thing to do. So now, how the human 2,300 would look like, having said all this? Just put it all together. Put it all together, what I said so far. Right? And I thought he would look something like this. Right? With the protruded neck, bulky neck, forward head, dropped shoulders, flexed elbows, swollen thumb, flexed knees, flexed hips, disfigured feet. And what you can't see here is abnormal breathing, cooked brain, hearing loss, and vision loss. Do you want these kind of humans to roam around the world? And no social skills, right? Can't smile and say hi to people. Right? Is this what you want? No. So, what we have to do to change this? We saw from here to here. We're going to see from here to there how we're going to change this. Simple things you can do to change this. Number one, be barefooted as much as possible. Okay? Do not let the multi-billion-dollar shoe industry to tell you that you need something else to make you better, that you're missing something. Your feet is the beautiful architecture in the world. 52 of 206 bones are in your feet. 1/4 of your bones in your whole body are in your feet. Beautiful arches, beautiful supplementary ligament system, the sling system, right? You have to be barefooted. Even wearing socks cuts off 25% of your information going to your brain. In Canada, it's a cold country. People wear socks in the winter. They're cutting off 25% of the sensory input going into your brain. Your brain is only as good as what comes in to give it out. If nothing comes in, it doesn't give out much. Output depends on input, right? That's very important. So be barefooted as much as possible. Keep your feet cool. It keeps your feet cool, and also your arches very stable. A lot of people say, oh, I have collapsed arch, I have to have orthotics. No, don't talk to me about it. I'm a physiotherapist. I know what orthotics does and what doesn't do. Not every foot or every feet needs orthotics. So we talked about the feet. Now coming up there, your hips, knees and ankles, and also your lower back movement. Take a lot of movement break, guys. If you're sitting and working every 30 minutes, put some timer on you, get up and move around more. It's very important. Move well, move often. And assess your movement patterns. Assess your kids' movement patterns. How is your kids' movement signature? How is your kids' balance signature? Are they moving well? Is my boy jumping? Is my boy can climb the tree? Can he lift? Can he squat? Check if your kids can do a full squat or not. I bet 50% of your kids cannot do full squat. Because they don't have to. And squat is the only movement which causes your hip, knee and ankle to the fullest range of motion loaded. It's not happening. Right? And use both sides of your brain as much as possible. Learn some music. Put kids in the music class. Do a lot of diagonal patterns crossing over so that both sides of your brain is stimulated. The bridge between both sides of your brain is stimulated, your corpus callosum. It's all firing up, right? Use your brain cells for positioning, not GPS. Use your BPS. You know what's a BPS? Brain positioning system. You do have cells, I'm not joking. You have grid cells and place cells in your brain. Your grid cells take care of your place wherever you are, right? It has a coordinate system for spatial navigation. It's located in the front of the hippocampal region. Your place cells in the hippocampal region, which forms a mapping of the environment. You don't need even a vision. That's how rats find the food in the night. They use that cells to see where the food is. They don't see. We all have those things. We're just putting them to sleep happily because we're switching on the GPS right away as soon as we sit on the car. Even in your own town, you use GPS. How shameful is that? It's your town. It's your world. You should be able to explore. Trust your brain and just start the car. Right? That's very important. And screen yourself. Get yourself movement screened by a physiotherapist. Right? If you're not moving well, go see somebody. You don't have to go see a physiotherapist when you have pain. You have to go see a physiotherapist when you have dysfunction, that he can pick it up when you don't move well. You don't have to wait until you get pain. That's very important. Breathe with your diaphragm. Okay? Use filters so that you don't absorb too much blue lights. Reduce your headphones use for you and also for your kids. Don't let them blast music in the ears all the time. That's very, very important. And forwardontics, it's a term we use. Forwardontics means no orthodontics exposure, but You pay attention to breathing, how you breathe, and the resting position of your tongue and all those things. There is something called oral posture. That's a different topic to discuss, how your tongue sits on your mouth. And it's very important to know how to breathe, and we have to teach the kids there, because a lot of kids are mouth breathing nowadays. We have to talk about that. And we talked about everything, I think. Yes. Then the last one is my last Blue Talk in Edmonton. I shared this secret formula to everybody to improve the longevity of life. I just want to touch upon that. I have 1 minute to go. It's called B S square M square, right? B S square M square. B stands for breathing. S square stands for sleep and social. Get your sleep, very important. That's the brain cleaning mechanism. And your social. You have to be social. Social aspect, getting out and having fun with friends and family is more important than exercise. That's coming from a physiotherapist. Trust me. Social is more important than exercise to keep you longer in this world. Next, M square, first M is for movements. Move well, move often. Please make sure that you're moving with awareness. You have to feel it, how things are moving in your body. Don't just blast music and into that. Pay attention to the movement. Awareness of movement is very important. Then the last M is mindfulness. John was talking about it. Intentionally paying attention with kindness. Saying hi to the person. The only good morning I said today before I coming here is the sweeper in my hotel. I didn't even say it to my wife, because I know she doesn't need it, but he needs it. Right? So just mindfulness. So B S square M square is the formula for your longevity of life. Then all these things we've discussed so far, pay attention to those things. And I want to leave you with your questions in 20 seconds. How our days, our lives will be different when we follow all these things, what we talked about. What kind of future we create for our kids if we follow all these things. So please make sure that you guys are taking 1 or 2 things home, and for you and for your kids. Thank you for listening. And I have a show called Ask Giri, the Physio Show. You can check out the physioshow.ca website for more. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Corey, and everybody here. Bye.